One thing about Jimmy that I love is that you can see right away how he makes other players better. I mean, we always want to get better. I agree. Steph does not have forever left, although who knows? I'm starting to believe that Steph Curry can be really good for still quite a period of time here.
Hey everybody, Tim Kawakami here, the TK Show, recording from the home studio. My guest, there's something going on with your computer there, Joe. It's the Warriors owner, Joe Lacob. Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well. You hearing me okay and seeing me okay?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yeah, we heard a little beep there from a computer, but we're all good. Hearing you great. I imagine the timing of these things, you never know when they're going to come up. We try to talk to you a little bit after the trade deadline as things are going on. You never know what's going to go on, but we happen to be talking to you as your team has gone 6-1 since Jimmy Butler's arrival, moving up the standings even quicker than I could have imagined. You're at the 8th seed, only a half game behind the 6th seed at this moment. Joe, I'll give you what's the mindset? What's the mood? How you feeling right now?
Well, obviously pretty good. 6-1 since the trade, and it looks like Jimmy's fitting in very well. I think the schedule's cooperating a little bit too. We had a lot of really difficult games early in the season. I keep looking, when are we going to play some of these teams? And I realized we already played them.
Yep.
So it's, it's kind of an interesting, I guess, final 24 games, I think now.
Yep. I mean, are you starting looking at seeding? Do you think, Steve has mentioned 6th seed for sure. And I was thinking, I don't know about that, but now it's right there. Are you trying to go, let's go get 5. Let's try to get 4. Those teams are way ahead of you, but are you starting to think about your place in the standings as you try to head to the postseason?
Yeah, look, I was surprised to hear Steve is looking at the standings and the scoreboard, but I obviously do that. And, watch a lot of NBA games too. I'm trying to keep track. We're half a game away from 6th, which I think has to be the most immediate goal to get out of the play-in, given our start. And I think that could we make it higher? Maybe, although with 24 games, the math gets a little hard.
Yep.
I think how many are we behind the 5 seed? It might be like 5 games.
Like 5 in the loss column, I think.
Yeah, that's it's doable, but it's I guess you could say unlikely.
Well, you've got a player, Draymond Green. I'll mention this a little while ago, but he's predicting a championship. Obviously, you want confidence. You want to feel that. You're a confident guy. What did you think about Draymond's prediction? And are you signing off on it? Are you signing off on anything similar to what this team can achieve?
I don't need to make any predictions.
Too bad.
Let it fall the way it falls. Our job is to put a good team on the floor, give them all the resources they need, and hopefully we do well. Obviously, we didn't do as well early in the season as we projected or thought we should have. But for whatever reasons, the trade, whatever, it's coming around right now, and let's just be healthy, get into the playoffs, and see what damage we can do.
What do you think is different? You're not in the locker room, you're not in the meetings, but you're a passionate observer of this. I see you on the sidelines, obviously watching very carefully and getting emotional. What do you think is different in the last few games?
We're playing with a lot of confidence. I know you play golf, and I play golf, and sometimes you just can't get a putt to fall no matter what you do, and a lot of it's confidence. I hate to say it, basketball and golf are very similar to me, and our guys are confident. They think it's going in. They think they're winning. Draymond said that, and I think it's true. Once you get on a roll, there's actually something to that. So I don't know. Things can change at any moment in the NBA. One thing I love about the NBA is that I try to tell people this after this is my 15th season. Like, you never can predict entirely what's going to happen. You may think you can, all the prognosticators and so on, but there's teams play better all of a sudden. They play worse all of a sudden. They go on streaks. Players get better. Players get worse. It just happens. There's change every year. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, even by the playoffs, some of our prognostications or some of our predictions for who's going to be tough in the playoffs and who's not could change on a dime. Someone gets injured, changes.
Could you see, or do you almost even expect a deep run in the playoffs with this team?
I think the obvious answer to that is potentially yes, because we have a lot of experience. I mean, there's no surprise. At least the top 3 guys on the roster, top 4 guys, 5 guys on the roster do. But I think once we get there, I just think it depends on matchups. It depends on injuries. I think we're going to have the confidence, certainly. And it would not shock me to see us go deep.
Put a banner up?
I'm not going to sit here and say banner because I mean, I have to be realistic and, not crazy here. There's some teams that have shown me over the course of a year, Oklahoma City in particular in the West, Celtics and Cleveland in the East. Those are the 3 teams that just are playing at a very high level and seem like they really have it. They have great teams. So I don't know about banner, but I think we take it one at a time once we get there, and let's just see how far we can go.
I'm kind of amazed I'm asking you about banner, like just from a couple of weeks ago when it was a very different feeling, at least certainly outside. I'm pretty sure inside the team. What was the mindset? You're hovering around 500. It doesn't feel good. I know, you got Steph and Steve talking about, hey, you know what? Let's not do something reckless. Let's not sacrifice, the future. Maybe that was misinterpreted. I think it was. They weren't saying the season's over. They're just saying, let's be prudent. Joe, what were you thinking like in that period? Were you saying we've got to just get better immediately, or were you of somewhat of the mindset we don't need to do anything rash?
No, I don't think it's a question of rash or panic or any of the stuff, some of the words you hear used in the media. I think that way or we think that way, but I do think that we clearly did need to do something to make us better. I mean, enough of the season had gone by to make the conclusion that we were kind of a 500 team, and I'm not sure what was going to make it change. So I think we needed to do something different, hopefully substantially better, but certainly better. It's hard, as I've said a million times, to do something at the trade deadline. This year it worked out, but it's kind of once every 5 years where these things really work out. And I think we needed to do something to shake it up a little bit. I think Steve so much has said that. And we did. And for whatever reasons we can all talk about and hypothesize, it has worked so far.
Was there some consideration to say, you know what, let's just duck under the luxury tax? It wouldn't have taken a lot, kind of bide our time and do something big in July. Was that really on the table?
Well, I would say we're going to probably make a change. And obviously we had some very large discussions. Mm-hmm. We went after, at least had discussions to explore a number of players. It's been reported, I don't think inaccurately, it's accurate. And we were trying to do something significant. If you're going to do something, let's do something significant. And if we could do it, great. If not, then, we have to play it out and see what happens this summer. It's easier, I think, generally to do something in the summer than it is at the trade deadline. There's just more optionality. Yeah. So, but to be honest with you, Tim, we're always looking. This is no different. We're always looking to do something maybe even significant at all times. Why not? Why not try to get better? And whether that be trade deadline, summer, whatever. It's just that it doesn't always work out. Yeah. And sometimes it does.
Well, I mean, I know you've got to be careful here, but all the principals have discussed this. The Kevin Durant was somebody you guys were very close to acquiring until you heard back from him in a discussion with Steph, discussion with other people that he did not want to come here. With all the work that you had done on that, and again, I know you need to be careful. I don't want to get you in trouble here, but it's been talked about. Yeah, it's been talked about. It's out there. Kevin is talking about it now on Draymond's podcast. Was it a disappointment to hear that he didn't want to come back to the Warriors?
Well, I heard that, obviously. But, Jimmy Butler also said he'd want to be part of the Warriors. So I think you have to take with a grain of salt when you hear something. Now, when you hear it directly from Mr. Durant, what he said, whatever he said, I guess you can, that's legit. It's coming from the horse's mouth. But there's always usually a motive for these things. Somebody wants to get paid or not paid. Somebody wants to influence somebody to trade them a certain place. It doesn't always mean it's black and white. And so, maybe someone like Kevin said he didn't want to be, I heard he said on something I listened to that said he didn't want to be traded in the middle of the season. Hey, he's never been traded, right? He's always been a free agent. He decides his own fate. So I understand that with respect to him. But I really can't say. I mean, I just heard that. I listened to it. I can't say what players on other teams do or don't do or want to do or don't want to do. I mean, we're just doing what we want to do or try to do, and we take it from there.
But it did stop the trade, right? I mean, him not wanting to come to the Warriors stopped the trade.
I don't think I should comment on another team's player any more than what has been speculated out there. You can conclude whatever you want.
Well, let's go to Jimmy Butler, the player that you did trade for. Obviously, he was under suspension, and the Miami Heat are not a screw-around team. I mean, obviously, that's a serious organization that had suspended him twice, and he has had issues with other teams. How much did you have to kind of grapple with that as the owner, and not only trading for him, you're trading up good players and a first-round pick, but also giving him another year at a large amount of money? How much did you have to investigate that? How did you become convinced that this wasn't as risky as it might seem from the outside?
Well, that's Mike's job, and Mike does his job very well. Mike and Kirk and the whole group, actually. And I think that there's a lot of agent speak out there. Let's just put it that way. And there's a variety of reasons for that. Pretty much, if you hear it, in the media or on TV or wherever, I wouldn't take everything at face value. Is the bottom line. And as it turns out, Jimmy was more than happy to come to the Warriors, as you have now seen. And we can all speculate about all that, but I mean, yeah, did I take it at some level? Did we understand, maybe consider that as an issue? Perhaps, but I don't think we took it as set in stone. And as it turned out, we were right. So
Did you have a conversation with Jimmy? Did it need to come down to that before you sign off on this?
No.
You did not.
No, Mike does that stuff.
Yeah. How much did Mike, being his teammate in Chicago in the past, which I'd forgotten about, come into play? How much did that matter? Just the personal relationship with those two.
How much? Say that again.
How much? Yeah, just knowing that Mike had a relationship with Jimmy.
Well, then clearly it's a long time ago, but he did play with him for 3 years and was friends and knew him and all that. But we couldn't talk to the player until they gave us permission to do that. Remember that it's just still between the teams, and sometimes agents get involved if they give them permission. So we have to be careful about all those things. But I think it did help at the end of the day that he knows him well and was able to feel comfortable.
It all concern. I mean, Butler's done this in a few places where he's kind of blown it up on the way. I mean, maybe you're saying it's been reported otherwise, but we've seen it, and certainly there were major issues in Miami. Again, not a team that goes through that very often. How concerned were you just to hear why this has happened and to hear that it won't happen? Are you sure it won't happen with the Warriors?
I mean, I don't know. Don't know for sure anything, but I feel pretty confident. I've talked to him since a little bit directly, and Mike certainly hasn't. He seems really happy. And sure, can these things change? I guess. Jimmy has a little bit of a reputation for that, but these are always two-way streets. So there's always reasons for these things. And I think let's just say we did our homework, and we feel very confident that in this situation, this team, these players, our GM, that I think Jimmy will remain very happy. And of course, we're all happy if we win. And right now we've been winning. So hopefully, if we're right about what we project here, this should be a very happy marriage. This
does up your salary payroll for sure into the future. And you're in luxury tax. You're going to be a repeater. How much do you have to kind of take a step back and understand that? And are you committed? This team is going to be a taxpayer for a long time now.
Well, we've been a taxpayer for a long time in huge numbers, more than anybody else, as you know. I mean, we will do what it takes to win. If we think we have a chance to win, we're gonna go ahead and do it. And so we're close to being out of the tax this year. I guess if we wanted to, we could have been out. You need to be out 2 years out of any 4-year period to get it off of the repeater, which would be a nice thing to do. I think as a business point of view, clearly we would love to do that, but it hasn't really, we just want to win. And so at the end of the day, I mean, I guess it's my fault. we make the decision to stay in and go for it if we think we can go for it. And maybe I'm too much of an optimist. I don't know, but I think we can go for it still. I think we're good and going to be quite good, and that's what we're doing today. Now things can change, but we'll see.
There are some options. I mean, like you're not stuck in this position. You still have picks to trade. You do have money you can move around. Is there some sense that like this summer, or specifically in a couple summers, there's still stuff to do with this roster? There's still a lot of big moves you could make.
We have optionality. I mean, one of the things about our position, which I don't think the media portrays entirely accurately or to its fullest extent, is that when you compare us to some other teams who have gone, quote, all in, we've gone all in on money more than any other team. We've paid whatever to bring people, to try to win. But we have all of our draft choices after this one's up this year, past this summer. Basically, all of our draft choices, with part of 2030, I think is still isn't ours. But basically, going forward, the vast majority of our draft picks we have a lot of good young players. We haven't given up any of them really, and so I think if we wanted to change things around at some point this summer or whenever, we have the option to do that. We have the assets to do that. Doesn't mean we will. There is no explicit plan to do that. Actually, we really like our team at this point. We love the mix. I know I'm going to get hit with the two timeline storyline and narrative, but I've said this before. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist that you win a championship with all old guys. And it doesn't exist that you win a championship with all young guys. It's never once that I can think of in history. Point out an example if you can. Been that way. It's always some combination of players that happen to be different ages. You're always planning for the future a little bit, sometimes more, sometimes less. And it's not just planning for the future. It's having, as I said in the beginning of this little answer here, it's having the assets to be able to make moves when you need to make moves. And what people like on other teams are young players and draft choices. You only want to do that, in our opinion, when you're going to go get something very significant. So we've been very patient about that. Jimmy Butler is a significant, big-time addition, and actually didn't cost us, that much in terms of taking away from our future. So we like where we're at. We have a lot of optionality, a lot of flexibility, whether it be this summer, if we see we need more, or whether it be a year from now.
One of those pieces, obviously, Jonathan Kuminga coming back from injury at some point pretty soon. I know it was a bad ankle sprain. Had been playing great. He's a restricted free agent coming up this summer. The numbers that he's going to demand or get, I'm sure, are going to be substantial and would give you 4 players making a lot of money. Are you committed to meeting that market price? Might even take you to the first apron, Joe. I mean, is that something that you're ready to do?
I don't know. Why don't you look at history and then you can make the answer to that.
Yes,
you can answer that question for yourself.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on Kuminga's season? It's been an interesting season for him. I mean, I'm a Kuminga guy. I know you're a Kuminga guy. But how do you see him fitting in what you've put together now?
I mean, we're going to find out real soon. It's going to take him a little while. I think we have to be fair about this. He's been out 2 months with a significant ankle sprain. But he's going to come back, and my expectation is that he is going to be a phenomenal addition to our team. He represents that sort of power, athleticism, and scoring ability that I don't see how that doesn't help us. We're not the most athletic team in the league. We're really good, but we're not the most athletic team in the league. So I think he coming back is, I mean, if we were going to go to a trade for somebody, I don't think you could find, anybody that might fit in the team construct of what we might need here any better. So I'm very, very optimistic about it. We know what he can do. This is his 4th year. We've seen stretches, maybe not starting like on some other teams, he would have been starting for 4 years or 3 years. You haven't seen that. He started in stretches. He came off the bench in 30 minutes a game this year for quite a lengthy period and did really well. I'm a huge fan of Jonathan. I think our team is a huge fan of Jonathan. Our entire front office is, our coaching staff. I mean, I know there's been a lot of stuff about that, but, Steve's a tough mentor, perhaps, but I think he knows what JK can do. He saw it this year. We saw it. I think it's going to be a great fit. I think, in addition, that Jimmy Butler is potentially going to be a great role model, if you want to say. JK came up to me actually just in the next couple of days and said to me, "I love Jimmy," and he says, "I really like that guy," and I don't know. I got a feeling here that this is going to go really well, really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, you see it immediately. Like, if he just plays like Jimmy Butler, the sky's the limit of what that could be for Jonathan Kuminga.
He has to play like Jonathan Kuminga. I mean, not Jimmy Butler, not.
Yeah, well, I mean, get pieces.
A lot from what Jimmy does, because in some ways they have similarities, and it'll just make him better. One thing about Jimmy that I love is that you can see right away how he makes other players better. It's not just about statistics, right? That is, I've been a big Jimmy Butler fan forever, and he is just proving that out exactly. When he comes on our team, you can see what he's doing for Moses, for other players, and it's just, I think the JK thing could really surprise a lot of people. I think it's gonna be a great fit.
Now, we've talked about this before. You had a great line when I've asked you about like maximizing Steph Curry's line. You're like, prime, and you said, I want to maximize my years. But did you feel that it does, like, even in the most rational view, Stephen Curry is a elite. You'll never have another player like him, I imagine. And you realize the time is counting down. Steph himself says he understands the time is counting down, that there was a pressure at the trade deadline to say, let's not mess around with even a moment more of this guy's prime.
Yes, I will. I will just say yes, if that's the answer you want. But it's really even more basic than that. Whether Steph Curry is here or not, we don't want to be a 500 team. And for whatever reasons, that's what we have been. And I think we saw enough of what this year was and decided we needed to help these guys a little bit with a little change in the roster. And we did that, and they're executing so far. And I mean, we always want to get better. I mean, I agree. Steph does not have forever left, although who knows?
Yeah.
Look at LeBron. He's 40, turning 41 at some point here. I mean, he's still an incredible player. And so I mean, Tom Brady proved some things that no one ever saw before. I mean, I'm starting to believe that Steph Curry can be really good for still quite a period of time here.
When you start talking about, hey, when I asked you about Kuminga signing him to a big deal, and you say, hey, just look at the past, this could take you into the first apron. Would the first apron be not a problem? I mean, would you understand it? Like, this is what we're going to be. We're going to be that team with a lot of kind of the tools taken away, which you've experienced before. Is that something?
No, you lose the tools when you go above the second apron.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So
if you're between first and second, or you're under first, which is where we are right now, I mean, there are obviously some penalties or whatever, but it's not as substantial. So I guess without getting into a lot of details about those are the rules. The rules are whatever they are. We abide by the rules. And so I just would say to you that, we look at all that stuff, and we're going to do whatever it takes for our fan base and for our ownership and for Steph and whoever to win.
Yeah, would the second apron then be the soft ceiling as you look at things?
I'll let Mike make recommendations on that, and we'll deal with it.
Well, let's talk about Dunleavy. I think one thing that's been noticeable from the very beginning of his time as GM is just like he's aggressive. He does stuff. He does not seem to fear, like what the effect's going to be. He's just going to go do it. From the Jordan Poole trade, now obviously searching out big trades this year. Has that impressed you, or did you know he had this in him?
Well, I mean, he had been with us for 4 years prior, so I mean, we knew him really well. There's no surprise here, and the rest of the group is the same. So Bob Myers was great at big game hunting, as you want to call it. And so I think until you do it, it's proper to sit here and say, well, can he do that? Well, he just did that. So he is really good at his job. I love him as a person. He's a great guy. He's really smart. He works really hard. I call him sometimes. I say, "You can be at the game tonight." No, I'm in New York. I'm going on this road trip to scout. I mean, he's out there doing that kind of stuff himself. I love that. This guy works really hard. He's really committed. He really wants to win. I mean, I think he's fantastic. I do. I think he's fantastic. And let's see how the year and the years go to then to judge his performance, just like you'll judge my performance or anybody else. But I think Mike is great at his job. And I thought he had a lot in him. Yes, is the answer to do these kinds of things. And he's certainly proving to do it.
Just ruthlessness, and not in a bad way. Just you trade for Schroeder, then you trade him away. Just the ability to make fast decisions that could be tough. I guess you don't know that until he gets there. Just has there been a move or two that you've been specifically impressed by, or like this is the way we need our general manager to look at things?
I think he's a realist. He sees what he sees. He analyzes it, looks at all the data, talks to our coaching staff a lot, got a great communication level with our head coach, Steve, and talks to me, so I just think he's a really good communicator. He's proving to be nimble. That's, I think, what you're getting at.
Yep.
The Dennis thing didn't work out like maybe we wanted it to work out for whatever reasons. It's hard to predict these things. We didn't see that. We thought he would be a great fit. And I think he is a good player. I just think for whatever reasons, it just didn't kind of work. And so I don't know. Mike is, I think the Warrior fans who pay attention to this kind of stuff, and, it's funny to be in a business where people who work for you get judged by others as opposed to their boss. But that's the business. And I think for anyone who's judging him, he's doing a really good job, I think.
When you were you're right on the cusp of that 22 title, you talked about the Lakers as a kind of, I don't know if it was a model, but it's something you're shooting for. I think it was 18 finals trips and 30, whatever that number was.
In 33 years ownership. And I believe are the right numbers.
Yeah, that sounds right. And you wanted to do that. It's hard. It's really hard. And it may not happen. It may never happen again. But do you have anything still? Is that still fixed in your head? Would you think this is possible to continue that long?
I don't know. But it's hard. What really scares me is that I turn around and this is my 15th year as a leader of this ownership group. That kind of blows me away that it happened so quickly. And we've done pretty well in those 15 years. So, I don't think anyone else can match our record, clearly, certainly over a 10-year period. But if you want to go all the way right back to the beginning, we were starting at a pretty low level. I take pride in the fact that, we've made 6 finals and won 4 championships in that period. I guess the tough task will be to do it again over the next 15 years. And I know it's not going to be easy. That I don't think Steph's going to play for 15 more years. I wish he would. I wish he could. But so look, it's going to be hard. You don't replace a Steph Curry. Certainly not easily. Even a reasonable facsimile, not easily. So we know that's tough. I know that stuff. I'm not naive, but we're going to do everything we can to try to maintain and be a significant NBA franchise with aspirations to win championships as many years of the next 15 that I'm doing this as we have over the prior 15. Whether we'll achieve it, I'm sure I can see the text right now from the internet saying, "Oh, Lacob, you're ridiculous. You're done when this group's gone." Well, hey, don't really think so. So, I'm sorry. I refuse to admit that. We're going to continue to try hard, work real hard, and if it takes spending money to make money or spending money to, in this case, win, if that's what it takes within the construct of the rules, we do that. But whatever it takes, we're going to do it because I'm not here to screw around. We're not here to screw around. This is not some passive thing for me. This is every day, every night, waking up. I think about it all day, all night. It's what we do. It's what we want to do. It's what we enjoy doing. We want to win. We want to be a significant player in the NBA landscape every year.
I'm going to bring up the Valkyries here. The season is coming up. The draft and all these things can be kind of right there now. It's not in the deep future. It's right coming up. How do you feel about that? I mean, I know there's always a search for big name players or really great players. I don't know if that's been as successful as you'd hope. What's your mindset right now and where the Valkyries are?
Well, there's two sides to that. As an expansion team, we're a new business and we're a new team. And certainly on the business side, we feel like we're meeting all of our objectives and doing hired a great team. We had to hire a team in the last year, which is the first step. I think we hired a tremendous team of mostly female executives, as it turned out, which I think is great. But they have done a terrific job. We're selling, I think our season ticket count is now the highest in the league. We're an expansion team. Mm-hmm. We don't have any star players really. And that's pretty awesome. And we're continuing to sell tickets. We have 3 months to go. Sponsorships, suites, the whole thing. So the business side's going great. People are going to have a lot of fun when they come to these games. It's going to be an exciting new experience for the Bay Area. I really believe that. And I'm really excited to walk in the first day of the first game. Now, on the player side, the rules are the rules. We have the 5th pick in the draft. I would like to have had a higher pick, been in the lottery and so on, but that's not what happened. And we're still going to get a good player. And we went through free agency, and there were not a lot of free agents available this year. And they have this rule called the core rule, where basically it's like the NFL franchise tag. And so made it really hard to steal away some of the more significant potential players this year. Having said that, we got some pretty good players out of Europe. And I think we're going to be a little better than people think. And we've got a really good coach. So I think we'll be respectable this year. And who knows, might even be better than people think. Maybe we'll even make the playoffs. You never know. And I don't want to predict that because I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But I do like the job we're doing with the hand that we were dealt with respect to players. Ohema's done a really nice job. She keeps me informed. We interact a lot. And so that's going well as well. Next year will be very different because most of the players in the league will be free agents. They're all in one-year deals. And so I think you can expect us, I would hope, certainly that we'll be players for some significant free agents in a year. So the bottom line is, I think we're going to wind up being a very good team. I know I made a big prediction, win the championship in 5 years, puts the pressure on everybody, including me, which is fine. We like that. And so let's get it. Let's go. Let's roll. Let's see what happens. We're excited.
I imagine it's caught your attention that I guess the expansion fee for you was $50 million, and I guess the new one is like 150, so 3x must be. I
don't know if it's been commented on. Yeah. I think it's higher.
It's higher than that. Okay. Yeah.
And but I don't know that it's been commented on yet or finalized yet. But I think it's going very well. There's so much interest in the WNBA, so much interest in women's basketball. And so many good players coming out this year. Even the college game, you watch some of these games, there's some really good players. So I have very high expectations for the advancement of the WNBA. It's really taking off. It's on this kind of trajectory, no longer this. And I'm really excited about it as a game and as a business.
All right, Joe, I will wrap this up with a version of a question I asked everybody. I think I might have asked you the same question. We shall see what your answer is on this one. Joe Lacob, what's your favorite restaurant right now?
Well, this is a setup. So to everyone out there, let's not try to fool anybody. Yeah. Look, I really want to encourage you to go to Splash. Self-serving here. I will admit it. But Splash is at Chase Center at Thrive City. It's the newest sports bar. We planned this for 5 years. We wanted to do it. The pandemic got in the way. It was a little too risky. We brought in all the other restaurants, and it's completely filled out almost now at Thrive City. So many opportunities to go and get good food. But Splash is something completely different. 30,000 square feet. I think it's 20,000 internal and 10,000 outdoor decks with heaters and big giant TV screens like a Vegas sports book or something all over the place. And we were there over All-Star Weekend, which is really kind of the first weekend, and it was fantastic. I mean, I even thought as I was driving home last night, after the post-game show, I forget his name, that does the show. It wasn't Bonte. It was after on the radio. Okay. And I was listening to it, and I was like, they were broadcasting from Splash, and I was like, maybe I ought to go watch a game from Splash. I mean, that's tough. I want to be in the arena, but maybe I should, with the fans and stuff like that, because God dang, that sounds exciting. I mean, if you go there and you see what it's like, the atmosphere, it's pretty cool. And I can tell you, food. I like food, and I had the smash burger there, and it was terrific. So I'm just going to say, splash. Go. Check it out.
I have heard your report on the smash burger, splash burger, whatever it is. And what did you tell somebody it's the best one? It's the best one you've had, or something like that?
It was as good as anything I've had in recent times. I mean, it was really good. And they're just getting started, but these guys are really good operators there, and it's just the environment is so cool. I mean, for sports people, you just love sitting in there. It's exciting. It's got a lot of energy. I don't know. I think it's going to be a big hit. I really do.
Let's just be clear. When Joe said it's set up, I always ask the guests before we start, which question do you want? That's the only setup. I say, do you want favorite book, favorite movie, favorite TV show? And we've done TV show and I think other things with Joe, but he said, let's do restaurant this time.
Did. So, I'm self-serving on this one.
People are going to jump on my back when they hear that, Joe. So I'm just saying, I want to clarify. I ask everybody.
Better you than me.
Yeah. Yes, and that does happen, Joe. It happens to me. I get people on my back, which is all good. As always, appreciate the conversation, Joe. It happened to fall in a really interesting time for the Warriors, and that's good. A lot of things to talk about. This Jimmy Butler thing has transformed a lot of the conversation, and that's good for you. It's good for the conversation. It's certainly good for Warriors fans. So I'll just throw this out. I've compared it to the Iguodala sign and trade. Do you feel similarities to any other big move that you've made with Butler?
I think this is right up there. I think that's a great comment on your part. This is up there with Iguodala and Durant when we brought him here. This is one of the most significant moves that we've made in the last 15 years. So he's a terrific player. And I don't think there's any doubting that. And he really is already impacting the team. So, yeah, it's a significant move.
When you made the trade, you go, oh, yeah, this one's going to change everything?
We always have a list of, who are the guys that could in the league that could really make a huge impact. There's the A trades, the B trades. Sometimes you can't do any. Sometimes you can only do a certain level trade. This was one of the biggest ones we could possibly do. And we're really excited about it. Our team, everybody. I'm glad the fans are too. You can sense it's palpable. You can feel it. It's just a different team.
That Sunday game was really, really live. You could just feel that on 12:30 start, which sometimes you wonder if it's going to be a little sleepy in there. But there was the Andre ceremony. It was Clay back, but also I just think that was about as loud as Chase has been all season on a Sunday day game.
Honestly, I know everyone loves to point to Oracle in Oakland, which was definitely very loud and great. It really felt like that. It was, you could feel the buzz and the energy in the building on Sunday. And that's what the playoffs are going to be like this year. I think it's going to be very exciting.
And whenever you hear that Warriors chant, something's
in a long time.
Yeah, something's going to go on, and it just was electric from the beginning. Give Andre some of that credit too, because I just think there were some fans there who just really wanted to be there, really wanted to have a good time. All right, Joe. Listen, always appreciate the conversation. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
That's the show for today, everybody.